Welcome back to the Rhino Show. I'm Austin, and as always, I'm joined by Tal
Hey y'all.
and Kawan.
Hello.
This guy.
All right, so guys, I'm gonna say this with Kwan's flavor. This Andrew Tate thing, let's talk about it.
Oh yeah, that guy, the top G.
Top G.
What a
Listen,
guy.
listen, what a guy. Listen, he called it. He called it. Listen, he said the Matrix would attack him. They would come up to him, socially speaking, as far as like canceling him. Then they would put him in jail, and then they would kill him. So far, man, the man is two for three.
Yeah, I'm happy people connected the dots so early on though, and they started sharing that video that he had taken a while back. So early, yeah.
Yeah, as just so everyone knows, Andrew Tate had made it clear that he is not suicidal. Okay, he will never ever kill himself. But no, yeah, he was arrested. Him and his brother and staff members from his house because they it alleged that all the libs online were like, oh, because of human trafficking. That is far from the truth. The Romanian authorities have also corroborated this. There was Tate said that it was because of a swatting, but then later on, the Romanian police said that they arrested him for money laundering.
Yeah, until I see any proof of anything, all this did was make me gain more respect for him. And that's coming from someone who genuinely hated this dude in the beginning because of his views towards women and his disgusting remarks towards women and stuff. But once he started speaking out against the Illuminati and the elites and the Matrix and everything, I did gain a lot of respect for the dude.
I think my opinion on Andrew Tate has been kind of this that he's clearly someone in society who understands that something is wrong.
Yeah,
He is somebody who, with eyes and ears, and two brain cells to rub together, who knows that this new world order is wrong. Something's not right. But unfortunately, he's still that kind of materialist, capitalist, too worshiping of capitalism kind of lib. So he has views that kind of miss the main point. Yes, something
that's
is
true.
wrong, and he can tell that, but he is not far enough in that understanding to understand why that's wrong.
Yeah.
That leads him down some really rough remarks that aren't really based in any truth. He's going somewhere. He's moving away from that liberal ideology, but he doesn't have a good direction.
I think
Yeah.
the more they're attacking him, the more it's pushing him
Yeah, I
to
believe
gain
so.
some understanding behind stuff.
I think my personal opinion on him is I'm glad he's speaking out. I'm glad he says what he believes. Obviously, at the beginning, I wasn't a big fan of him.
Whoa, whoa,
Just
whoa, 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 whoa! You don't like the top G?
I
What
said
color
it,
is your What
No,
color
it
is your
took
Bugatti? What color
it
is your
took me
Bugatti? What color
so
is your
long.
Bugatti?
It took
Okay.
me so long to gain any respect for him at all and like understand his whole like building his brand and stuff. It took me
so
so long to understand it.
um top G over there, Kawan. I
Yeah,
said
yeah,
at
yeah.
the beginning, okay. At the beginning, I did not like him because the videos I see on my algorithm, which he promoted sleeping with every woman he could find.
Yeah.
Okay, but you got to take that message and say, well, he's wrong with this, but other things he's stating are facts, and you can use his messaging to get that out because he's got such a huge platform. So I respect him for saying what needs to be said. At the same time, there's a lot of people that worship this guy for some reason and want to act completely like him and want to call themselves the top G. And it's like, I get what he's doing. I like what he's doing for the most part. But how childish do we got to be where we run around calling ourselves the top G and trying to act like the guy? You know what I mean? It's
I
just,
think it's cringy.
yeah,
I think
it
it's so
grow
cringy.
up. That's all I got to say. Like all these conservatives that are trying to be the next top G, it's like, get your own personality. If you respect what he says, great. You like the guy. Don't try to be the guy.
I
That's my
think,
stance.
yeah, I think you are oversimplifying the situation. The guys who followed Andrew Tate are not these like professors that they're not these men with like five kids and a wife. Typically speaking, it's usually these 18 to 26-year-olds who have been getting dunked on and like punched in the face by these feminist liberal movements who have been told that that the rapists and misogynists and the trash and they don't know what to do with their lives. They're sitting here maybe in very unfortunate situations, and here comes this guy who's not afraid to say some truths and who is showing up a better lifestyle. And I think it's inappropriate to oversimplify those guys and just to children who are blindly following. I think there is a real need for male role models in this country and in the world in general. And unfortunately, a lot of young men don't have that. A lot of the men who are trying to do that get canceled, get put away, get silenced, and end up becoming liars or cheats or whatever have you. And Andy Tate, for the most part, is pretty transparent to a degree. And he says, "Hey, listen, this is what I do. This is what I've done. I want to provide some kind of help to young men who need it." And I can see why that resonates with a lot of young men.
Yeah, I agree that a lot of people look up to him, and I'm not discrediting the fact that he is doing good for some of these people and that he is bringing masculinity back into people that look up to him. But at the same time, it's what I was saying was the childish part is all these people are calling themselves the top G now. Like that's childish, and you don't need that. Like you can act like him, and you can try to be more of a man, but like the nickname is what I was getting at. It's like it's like Tal said, it's kind of cringy. It's like no, you don't have to call yourself the top G. You know what I mean?
I think it's funny because it's kind of like a little cringy. Like I don't think people use top G in a serious manner. I think it's a signal of like the kind of culture around that. It's like using this kind of buzzwords. It's kind of like top G, like kind of like doing the kind of like slang terms. I think it's just a fun thing to say. I don't think any people are walking up to like an actual meeting. Hey guys, my name is Jerome. I am the top G. Hello. I doubt that's actually happening. I think it's a fun thing to do.
Yeah, I hope you're right. At least I don't know for sure, but I'm hoping you're right. I'm hoping people aren't walking up being like, "Oh, I'm top G." Like, no,
it's definitely silly. And I get that there are a couple guys who are serious about it, but I think in general speaking, it's kind of just a joke. Like oh yeah, top G. Like it means something for real. Like you are someone who's dominant, but also it's like a funny way to saying it. Versus like I think people used to say alpha male back in the day. I'm alpha male. That's not as popular anymore. It's
no.
Just like I'm a top G. I'm the top G. Kind of just.
You got the accent down too.
Go on defending it right now because he's probably called himself the top G.
Yo.
Yes.
Woman, make me some waffles, okay? Belgian style.
No.
See, that's me.
Well, Andrew Tate's making a guest appearance on the podcast.
Exactly.
Might be blackfacing, but he's here.
I mean, Jay's like half black, whatever he is.
He would get away with it, right? Then
yeah, absolutely, it's fine. But no, I think Andrew Tate definitely needs some more refinement in some things he talks about. I think he needs to change his opinion on certain things in a huge degree. I think he has been caught and being wrong on certain things that he has not admitted to. I think it's, again, with any public figure, if you show me a great leader, I'll show you all of their mistakes that they've made.
Mm-hmm.
Name me anybody. Name me Gandhi. Name me Martin Luther King Jr. Name me anybody you want. George Washington, and I'll show you their sins.
To be completely honest, though, overall, I think that he's convenient for the time being, just because he's encouraging people to think a little bit deeper into things.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, also, like, it's he's so infuriating because it is really hard to cancel the man.
Yeah, it is.
I think he's done plenty of things with women that I would personally never really associate with him on a personal level, because I don't agree with his being a pimp basically for like cam girls. That is of course disgusting and horrible. And having business off that kind of is disgusting.
I remember when I first heard about him, I had seen this one video and he was talking about how, like, even if like you're dating someone, like you're with somebody, you can go sleep with whoever, because as long as you don't love those other girls, it's not cheating. And I was like, I really hate your guts, bro.
He is, even though that he's against the woke left, he is still a liberal in a lot of his sexual ideologies, and that's very apparent.
Yeah. So I think we can all agree he's a disgusting individual that we can use for our advantage on multiple topics. I think we can agree that we don't like him personally. We wouldn't be friends with him personally, but he's a good advocate for certain things.
I wouldn't say that. I think he has some bad. I think he made a lot of poor choices. I think it'd be hard for me to consider him a close friend like that. I think he is very charming. I think he's very intelligent. I think there's a lot of redeeming factors about him. It just, both parts. I'm like, okay, you are a pretty okay guy. I just like, that part of your life that you decided to delve into, I just can't support it.
I just hope he continues to lean more right.
But yeah, but like even people on the right nowadays aren't really right anymore.
Yeah, which is very sad to see.
Yeah. It's sad to see that I became a conservative. I want to say almost 3 years ago, and I am more conservative than most conservatives are, and that's very interesting to me.
Yeah, that's crazy for sure. Because I know I started talking politics about 2 years ago, and I was just like, "You're basic Republican," and now all of a sudden, I'm like as far right as you'll find on any app. It's crazy how soft the right has become recently.
Yeah. To be clear, by the way, Austin is not alt right. He is just right. Don't mistreat that. He is not.
Yeah.
Please don't. Please.
I mean, you could do whatever you want. It don't matter.
Just to be clear for the record, if anyone isn't in the truth, he's not. He's
Okay,
not
at least he's not folding on all these topics like other conservatives are right now, like LGBTQ and stuff like that, because that's embarrassing to watch. I'm getting like secondhand embarrassment being part of this.
Yeah, I remember people like, oh, so Quan, you support everything about Trump. I'm like, no, I don't support everything about Trump. I think Trump is way too lenient on the LGBTQ community.
Yeah, the more people need to call it out.
I'm like, yeah, like he's way too pro-gay for me.
Yeah, for real.
Like, no, he hates gays. I'm like, no, actually, he loves gays more than I like him would as far as the policies.
Yeah, I wish he would straighten that out. Then it'd be a lot better. But even Trump's folding. We don't fold around here, but Trump's folding a little bit.
I think Donald Trump. I don't think he really folded. I think he's really held a very similar position for all of his life. I think you can watch him back in the 80s and 90s, and he said the same thing on I think it was the Rosie O'Donnell show, some show. He said, yeah, he has no problem with people being gay as far as the ideology. So for him, he's been the same way for almost all his life.
Yeah, he's consistent with the gays. I was talking about recently. I heard him on Dan Bongino's radio show, and he is now. Before he was pro-life 100%, and during the interview, he said, "Well, we need to relax on this no exceptions talk, and we need to start rolling it back if we want to win." So that's what I mean. He's not as strict as he was before, and that's what I mean by that.
I mean, because you said the last part where he said we need to roll back so we want to win. I think that's more of a strategy question, which I think is true for a lot of Republicans too, and Democrats. The question is, when do we push our policies the hardest? And that's a fair thing to say. Fair question. That's very fair game to play. I personally don't agree with it all the time, but it makes sense that at certain times of election periods, you don't want to push things too hard.
Yeah, and I get that, but at the same time, where do you draw that line? And it's a fine line. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, it's like I think Democrats, for example, they should stop pushing the gas and oil stuff right before elections because that helps up. They if they did stop, then they could probably get more votes.
Well,
it's a game. It's a game. Politics is a game. It's hard to play. I'm not going to get mad at a politician who is playing the game to a certain degree. If you're lying, of course I'm upset with you. But like if you're saying, hey, listen, this is what I believe in. But right now I'm focused on winning issues. That's fine with me as well.
Every politician lies. Just how much they end up doing it. You could be like Biden and lie about every little story. So
every little story,
everything he says, whether it's
I was raised.
He doesn't really say much though.
The church, he was or Puerto Rican community,
yeah,
African American community. He had what's that? Why can't I think of the guy's name? Damn, I can't remember his name. Anyway. But then he was the Amtrak guy, and then anyway, it's just another lie every week, and it's like, we know what you're doing here. Just stop lying, please. Just shut up. Like you lie about everything. I understand. Politicians lie, but you don't have to lie about the little things. Lie about the big things if you want, because that's what they all do. Don't lie about the little things.
Yeah,
it'd be more difficult keeping up with it.
Yeah.
Speaking of lying, though, like they were after Trump about his taxes, and again, after looking at taxes once more, again. For the past 6 years, they found again Trump told the truth about his taxes.
Not surprising.
And they're talking about like online, like, oh, they finally get Trump tax returns again. Wow, he's going down. Look how awful he is. What terrible he is. See, guys, we're all right. I'm like, what were we right about?
Honestly, I feel for those people though, because those are the people who are pushing for his tax returns constantly are so lost. They're just so easily manipulated by like what they watch and like the news that they watch and stuff like that. Because like any person with some common sense who knows every single time that he releases them, they get proven wrong, wouldn't still be hell bent on this.
Yeah, and like I think the evidence to show why it's such a losing issue is that if it was true, they A would have had it way longer, a long time ago. B, it would have been plastered everywhere nonstop 24/7. The story basically died out over the weekend. Like it's almost nowhere anymore because there's no facts to it.
Well, they don't want it to continue because now they set the precedent where if you're going after a politician for his tax records, well, now let's see Nancy Pelosi. Let's see all this insider trading. Let's see your taxes. Let's see where this goes. They don't want you to talk about it anymore because they got caught red-handed. There's nothing to nail Trump for, and now they can play that card against the Democrats if they want to. So they set themselves up.
Also, in reality, Trump is one of the very few politicians who did not get rich in office.
Yeah,
he actually lost a lot of money while he was in office. By the way, he did not take a salary. He donated his salary to charity, and his business lost tons of money. And he took a deduction each year because of how much money he lost.
What a guy! You might call that a top G, right?
top G.
No, but like you want to go after Trump because it's been trendy for the last 6 years for his taxes. But I'm interested in honestly seeing Nancy Pelosi's taxes, and I want to see Republicans too. Hey, Kevin McCarthy, where's all this money going? Mitch McConnell, where's all this money going? Like all these candidates you're pushing for office, and we know how much money you're making here. Like I want to see where all this money's going. You know what I mean? Like I don't care if you're Republican. I want to see where these rhinos, this scum in Washington, what their taxes look like now.
You didn't think Austin was going to go an episode without bringing up Nancy Pelosi?
Dude, Nancy is always on my mind.
Always on his mind.
My screensaver.
Like hot molasses just sticking to his brain.
Dude, you can't call yourself straight if you're not thinking about Nancy.
Mama Nancy.
There's some interesting pictures out there too. So anyways, somebody else start talking.
Oh my God, he's embarrassed.
His brain is foggy now. He's got the images in his head.
I can't concentrate now.
No, but I honestly kind of don't care about the taxes too much because I'm more concerned about where our tax money is going and the billions and trillions of dollars in bills we've been passing recently. The billions of dollars that have been going to Ukraine. I just don't understand.
It's our 51st state.
Yeah, actually, at this point, we might as well. Okay, let's put up 2 senators there, get it figured out. Zelensky can move into the White House and sleep in Biden's room.
He's got more power than Biden. The man's taking all our money. Biden is literally the dead puppet sitting there signing the checks, giving him all the money. Like Zelensky really does have more control over the United States, it seems like, than Biden.
The whole, like, what was it, man of the year, whatever.
Yeah.
That was just so embarrassing. Come on. Did you guys see him and Biden when Zelensky went to the White House? Did you see, all that? Embarrassing. He was so weak and just so, my gosh.
The little butt pat. The little pat.
Oh, my God.
Good boy.
Hey, come on. Don't get too happy here, but remember what Zelensky did with Nancy? Dude, I know you watched that video. It was an utter disgrace, though, how he came dressed in sweats to Washington. Everybody else is wearing suits. This guy is acting like he's in war, dressed for war, when we know he's not. He's not even in the country. You're telling me he couldn't get dressed up to show up?
Honestly, okay, so this is going to sound weird, but I thought of it like it was just another power move by Zelensky because it was kind of to show that he didn't really have to, it was like Biden was dressing up to see him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of where my mind went because
it feels. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
What it feels like is Biden notices these little social media trends, and then he keeps going with them even after no one cares anymore. The whole Ukraine thing was really big for a couple months, but no one really cares. I mean, probably honestly, nobody actually cares about Ukraine anymore. We have a lot of the country forgotten about the war. It's so unimportant. But Biden's still don't worry, guys. Uncle Joe's still on it for you. Don't
It
worry.
was
I'm
it was
sitting in the
just another
pudding.
hashtag. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Hashtag BLM, hashtag stand with Ukraine, hashtag this, hashtag that. It's disgusting.
We just don't care about the war. I don't like literally. You got people like even in the conservatives. You're like, yeah, I want Russia to win. Yeah, I want Ukraine to win. I'm like, yeah, I don't care who wins. I just want my money to stay here. Like, I
Yeah.
don't care at all.
Yeah. I just want Russia to not think that we're wussies. That's what I want. I want Russia to be afraid of us when we walk by.
Well, we are. We got Biden as our commander in chief. We've never been weaker, so we are weak right now. Very weak.
I'm tired of. I want. Listen, I don't care what other countries think about us as far as like if we're nice or not. I really don't care. That's not my goal in politics. I want them to respect us and to be afraid to cross us. That's what I want.
That would be great. Fear us. That's how you earn respect. Not by giving money out to everybody that ask for it.
Fear us not because we're bullies. I don't think we won't be bullies necessarily. But fear us to know that if you decide to step against us, we would absolutely destroy you without a hesitation, without a question. We won't sit there and we'll talk to you for 10 months and let you kill people and do it. No. If you run against us, it's over.
Yeah. Like Trump said multiple times, you mess with us, he was going to bomb you. He was going to kill your leader. He was going for you. You mess with us.
Yeah.
And they respected that because they feared him, not because he was a bully. But if you messed with him, you poked the bear. You know what I mean? He was going to strike back.
Yeah, he said to him, "Hey Trump, I'm gonna nuke you guys." He goes, "Fantastic, let's go. Let's light this candle. Let's do it. My button is bigger than yours, and mine actually works." Best tweet. Oh, I missed his tweet. Some that's fantastic.
Yeah, what times we lived in back then when he was on Twitter.
Yeah, what a time. I almost finished that wall. The border situation is still terrible.
I miss him. I respect that he's not on Twitter, though, to be honest. I kind of respect that he's not back yet.
I don't want him to come back. I want him to stay on his own platform, grow that. Hopefully he does what he does there. But like for him to cave and come back to Twitter, A, it would kill his app, and B, he would go back on his word, and C, all it would do is create more negative headlines. He can say what he wants on Twitter or on Truth Social, and he's not catching the heat like he did when he was on Twitter. So if he's looking for the serious run, I think he should just keep it on the low side.
Well, just because I still have the stance of like he should be on everything. He should be on like the more liberal platforms and stuff like that. But also the way that he was treated on Twitter, what happened to him on Twitter, and also like as much as I like what Elon Musk is doing with Twitter, I have seen some restrictions on free speech still. So
I think 2 points. I think first and foremost, Trump was banned off of not only Twitter but like multiple other like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, even Pinterest. So like Twitter is just one of the facets that was after him. So I just feel like it's whatever. Like again, if he's gonna be on everything else, he might as well be on Twitter as well. I just think it's not wrong if Twitter changes hands to somebody new. I think it's probably fine for him to say, okay, cool, I'm gonna go back. If not only because of his contractual obligation to Truth Social. But then secondly, to your point, I think secondly to your point, what did you say at the very end of that, Talia?
What did I say about what?
At the very end of that, you said something about something. What was it?
Oh, that there's still restrictions on free speech, though. Still.
Yep. Yeah. That's what. Yep. I think there always has to be. I think there's always restrictions on free speech, no matter what area you're in, no matter where you are. Like even in real life, you can't just say whatever you want. There are rules about what you cannot say, and I think there has to be standards, and I think it's okay that Elon Musk has standards.
I do agree with you, but Trump wasn't just banned either. He was banned, and then his last two tweets were unseen by everyone during this whole insurrection BS too, and that hurt the dude a lot. So
yeah, but like that's true everywhere else. Like, they were deleting videos off of Instagram, off Facebook.
Yeah,
again, I just feel like social media as a whole targeted him as a whole. And so for me, it's like it's not just about Twitter thing; it's about like, everybody thing. So I'm like, I get it, but also again, like I said, because it's under new management, I can see why it'd be okay for him to go back.
Yeah, And I don't mean like hurt his feelings. I mean like hurt his reputation, and before that gets me twisted.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's like when you have not only social media, but you have every other major corporation and company. You have the entirety. Sorry, more than half of Congress, half of the Senate, other countries' leaders, the UN. When you have when you have all these different people gunning for you and trying to destroy your reputation. Twitter was a big part, but like a big part of a massive whole.
Yeah.
And so I think Twitter thing definitely hurt his reputation, but I think there's so many other things as well that would not help a lot at all.
Well, you know me, obviously anti-Elon guy over here. This free speech really drives me crazy because it's not. My boy Bryson Gray, come on the podcast, anytime you want. But he got suspended. His account was permanently banned actually at one point for calling a gay man gay. I'm not a rocket scientist here, but if a man is gay, I think that's fine calling him gay. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's what he wants to be called, unless he wants to be called something else, because then I could call him a bunch of other names. But I think that was the respectful thing, calling a gay man gay, and you got banned for it. That's not free speech. They eventually corrected the wrong, but stuff like that shouldn't be censored at all, and it shouldn't be enough to get you banned. He's gay. I'm going to call him gay. Like, what's the big deal here?
I think it's okay. So I'm going to say, of course, that shouldn't have been banned, and I'm glad that they also corrected it. I just think that you guys are putting a little too much pressure on Elon Musk to fix everything magically 100%, and I think that should be the expectation. I think when anybody says free speech, they do not mean free speech, and we should take that as it is. No one actually means totally 100% free speech. And so my expectation with this was that it was going to be better, not perfect. And I think when you look at it that way, you can appreciate it more. And I feel like Austin, in particular, I think you come at it like, oh, I want 100% free speech. I'm like, I'm sure you wanted that, but like that's not like that was never going to happen.
I don't want death threats on there. I don't want calls of violence. But it's like me tweeting at you, calling you straight. Is that enough to ban me for calling you straight?
No. Like again, like I said, I agree with you on that point. Like again, that shouldn't have been banned, and I'm glad that they fixed it. I'm just not surprised that something like that happened.
As much as I agree with you, because I don't think it's going to be perfect. It never is.
Yeah, it'll be perfect.
But I think that right now it should be better than what it is, just because the way that he promoted it was free speech, blah, 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 blah. And there's enough people behind Twitter that shouldn't have happened.
I think, I agree. I agree what you're saying. I think because I'm automatically cynical when anyone says free speech. I was off the gate not expecting it to be like this. Right now, what's happening is at the height of my expectations. I really low, at a very medium expectation, and he's hitting the top of that medium for me. Yeah. Even with that situation happening.
This is why I think that Trump wouldn't go back on Twitter though, anyways, either, because something like that, something so small.
Trump would be getting tweets deleted again real quick.
Yeah, it would be the same thing.
I disagree. I think the gay thing that you were talking about, 2015 kind of censorship with the gay thing. I know that's like we were in such a. I think we forget like Twitter was such a toxic place, and they were wiping so many stories, some of the most disgusting, disdain things, and for us to be back at the point where like gay jokes are being censored, that's a big step back from the past like 6 years, 5 years. So again, we are back at like a 2015, 2014 level of like censorship, like post Glee episode censorship, and that's that's way better than we were. Also, of course, like I said, they fixed it, which is like also something interesting. Like they're capable of fixing a wrongdoing. So that's also me like okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I respect that.
Yeah, if they,
I don't totally disagree. I don't totally disagree with his leadership and his being the CEO of Twitter, but just because like I like that he presented a lot of new ideas, a lot of new strategies. I like that he's limiting the amount of like mass misinformation being spread on the app, and I like how he's trying to savor some type of free speech.
Something, yeah.
I still don't like the
some
dude,
kind of
but
standard
he's
when-
not a
when-
horrible.
when-
He's not a horrible CEO for Twitter right now.
So yeah, I'll definitely agree with Austin when he says that was wrong. 100% was wrong. I'm just not gonna be as upset about it because I'm so used to social media being such a degenerate place full of liberal ideas that this is like even that is a breath of, is like a breath of fresh air to me. Like even that little situation is like, okay. We are pulling back the curtains a little, like we're somewhere in the past at least. Like we're going back to something more normal.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
You know, I shouldn't complain because I got no platform on Twitter. I'll say what I want. No one's going to see it to report me. But
Sure.
if you have a platform, just realize that you can't be any further to the right than crybaby Adam Kinzinger, or you will get blocked, you will get banned, you will have tweets taken down because that free speech has a fine line there, right? When you get past Adam Kinzinger. So
Yeah, again,
no further right.
And again, I am not a billionaire here on Twitter. I don't know the rules going on in that. I don't know how that all works. I don't know all the people he's talking to. I don't know how that shakes down and what's going on Twitter. So I'm not gonna assume that I know how that all works in like oh, there's no program that allows that. I don't know. But I'm glad that was fixed at least. At the very least, they fixed it. That's good.
Yeah, great. Round of applause for Elon. Okay, that's it.
I think
Anyway.
he's helping Twitter catch up to the other platforms, I think. A little bit. Didn't he say that he was gonna resign though? He's gonna abide by the results of his poll.
Yeah, once you
Step
find
down as
somebody
CEO.
crazy enough to run it.
Finally take over. Yeah, I don't know. I
He's
mean,
still
like
gonna run the software and the service teams though.
Honestly, it was probably his plan to resign anyway. Usually, the owners of the business typically don't stay CEO after it gets pretty big. Usually, I bet he has other things he has to be doing besides running Twitter 24/7. So I think he did the poll on purpose to have it out as CEO.
Guys,
Have it seem like it was our choice.
Exactly. He's so good at that.
so I'm gonna make a proposal to Elon. Elon, I don't like you. I respect what you've done on Twitter a little bit. Put me in charge of Twitter. I'll make sure I right the wrong on free speech. Okay. I don't like you, but I respect you enough to work with you.
Yeah. Salary starting at $2
I don't
million.
need money. I don't need the money. I'm just going to write it.
I'll take his money.
I'm
He can
sure
take
he's
the
thrilled
money.
about this proposal.
I know where to draw the line on free speech. Okay. You obviously don't. So put me in charge. Okay. I'm done here.
There you go.
Go on.
I'm the captain now.
You know, you can be in charge of the border.
Okay.
Have
fair.
fun.
Bet.
That's your mess now. What are you going to do to fix it?
Finish the wall first and
Was
foremost.
it?
Install turrets, and then install a railroad track along the top of it, so you can like drive a train down it and back and forth.
Yo, that's
nice.
sick, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, am I
Yo,
right?
put
Am I right?
Kawan in charge of the border.
Listen, you can go from the west coast to the east coast in like a couple hours on the train.
Don't be crossing that border when the train's coming. That's all I got to say.
And then I would give a bounty on all illegal immigrants.
Hey, yo. Okay. Come on.
If you're a citizen,
Hey.
Border Patrol chief. You're in charge,
Dude.
my guy.
I'm gonna say I have this: $1,000 a head.
$1,000 a head.
Again, you cannot. Citizens, be very clear: no violence, no guns. You have to be informing on them and have local authorities handle it for you. But
No
$1,000
drugs.
is a head that you can prove is illegal. And
Okay.
also, false reporting will also incur a fine. So if you are false reporting people because you're racist or whatever, you'll be fined $1,000.
Yeah, I mean that seems more logical than the ideas I've had. I've had a couple over the years. My one was like 6 months ago on Instagram Live. It was, let's just throw a bunch of drag queens at the border, and I'm pretty sure most normal people would go back because they'd be like, "America's crazy. I don't want to go there." You know what I mean?
No,
You see a
so
bunch
the
of drag
crazy
queens.
people would stay.
But then we could catch them then if they're attracted to the drag queens. I mean, we know who they are then, right? Like we have to take action. If we're putting the drag queens there, then we're obviously trying to capture them. Biden's not putting the drag queens there.
I would also put some pressure on Mexico. I would impose certain sanctions and certain tariffs on Mexico until they figure out their border problem.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with a country who is so incompetent that they can't stop their cartels from coming over the border.
Kawan for president.
I
My
support
fellow Americans.
it. So, Kwan, if someone breaks in your house, how do you deal with the situation? You're a big firearms guy.
So I get the bleach ready. Okay. The plastic. So yeah, my whole living room is like covered in plastic, of course. Trash bag in the ground.
Oh man.
He knows what he's doing. Have you seen what he did with California?
Yeah, I've heard about it.
Luckily, no one has ever broken into my house before. I live in a good neighborhood, thankfully. But I'd imagine. I like to say I would like to give them the opportunity to turn around and leave.
Yep.
But it depends on what's kind of going on, like are in the kitchen or in the living room, what's kind of going on. Can they tell where I am at that certain point in time? Do I want to give them my location? It really depends. Hopefully, it's dark in my house. I don't think lights on very much my house. So, unfortunately, depending on the situation, I might have to shoot them first. I question later. But yeah, I'll probably defend myself accordingly. If they try to flee, let them flee. Never shoot somebody in the back, guys. If they're fleeing, let them flee. But yeah, if unfortunately that happens and I have to shoot somebody, yeah, I'll just call the police, call my lawyer.
So you know where I'm going with this.
I don't.
So that's your house.
Yeah.
We have National Guard looking tough on the border, right? They're carrying, looking tough, staying there for photo ops, putting fence up. So these guys are all carrying, protecting our house. What is the largest population coming across the border? It is single adult males. So let me be very clear when I say this. Single adult males that are invading our country, we've got the National Guard at the border. Why don't we let them pop a few shots and tell them to turn back? And if they continue to invade our country, let them do their job. I know they're not allowed, but that'd be a very quick solution. Now, I'm saying single adult males because, no one's going to have a problem with that. But they'd get the hint. And if they didn't, they'd find out the hard way is what I'm saying.
I mean, if only a president wasn't on TV saying come on, come all. But
I'm putting the proposal to you because you're the next president.
I just think with the fact that, again, the biggest part of the border issue is not only illegal immigrants coming into America, it's also the sex trafficking, and all the little girls and families who are affected by this. I think we have to get a little aggressive. I think when you are committing a crime and you do not stop committing that crime, unfortunately, force is necessary. I would ask to use other forces before you shoot, unless they are clear present danger, or else you couldn't detain them. I would have a lot of steps before you shoot, but I think absolutely allowing a shoot order if things get to a certain degree, absolutely.
In reality, though, none of this would even happen ever because our country's in on all this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but when Kwan's in charge, he's going to right the wrong and he's going to put an end to it.
But as of now, we can't expect anything to be done at all.
No, they just
especially human trafficking. Our country is one of the biggest contributors to that.
Listen, if I was the president, guys, in 2036, if I'm president, okay. Listen, isolationism to the max, okay. No one's getting a dime from us, everybody, okay. Everyone's cut off. I'm the rich uncle, and everyone's getting cut off. Britain, you're done. China, you're done. Everybody cut off, you're done.
I hope when you become president, someone pulls up this video.
Absolutely. Quan, you say this? I'm like, yes, I did. I'll say it again.
That's right. He ain't backing down.
No, I won't back down. No, I won't back down.
I wish you could stand your ground at the border. Well, not you, but our troops.
I mean, I'll go. Listen, I am a commander in chief for a reason. I will go up to every conference with an AK in my back. Let's do it.
It's an improvement. Biden's never been to the border, so.
Listen, I feel like if you're the commander in chief, you should be the commander in chief. Know what's up.
Yeah, Biden should go down there and throw out those gas grenades and get people running the other way.
Every president should be able to shoot with a 75% accuracy from 25 yards.
Yeah, that should be a requirement.
Absolutely.
I don't think Biden can shoot anymore.
Each election cycle, we have a tournament.
That's funny.
What other tests would they have? Would it just be your accuracy, or is there other physical tests that they'd have to pass?
No, just accuracy.
Just accuracy.
Because as commander in chief, it's very rare that you need to actually be in a battle. But the ability to defend yourself properly if you were to go to Afghanistan for some reason, and to be more involved. Again, I love Washington, and I think he was a heavily involved president. And he on the regular fought militias. On the reg. OG. Top G, if you will.
Top G.
He was the original Top G, wasn't he?
Original Top G. My man Washington.
What
So I think it's commander in chief. If you were not able to go to the border, if you were not able to go to Afghanistan, go to these places, and talk to your commanding officers, to talk to your soldiers, and then if anything went down, if you were not able to protect yourself, the president's sitting there like, oh, I guess I'm gonna die today. Like, what's going on with you, man? Like, hopefully the president is never in danger. But if you are in danger, what do you? I think it's weird that the president's like, you know what? I no longer have to for myself. I'm gonna let other people do it for me. Come on, man. Come on.
I think there should be an IQ test also.
Biden would fail both of them.
I don't.
So
I disagree. I disagree because I think the president is a perfect litmus test for the state of the country, and I think we deserve who we elect.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that. I don't think I deserve what they elected.
Now, listen. We are a people, okay? If we have let our society degrade to this point, and we are electing absolute buffoons, absolute buffoonery, that's on us, and we need to feel that. We, as the people who did vote for him, we need to feel the pain and understand we need to do better at our jobs to help change things.
I think that we definitely need a different approach because their approach is to divide us constantly, and I feel like we're further creating that divide or pushing that divide because we're kind of like, oh, you're liberal, LGBTQ, blah, 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 instead of like kind of finding common ground with them and like explaining our views and our values and stuff like that in a way that they can understand, because at this point it's just hate. Everyone's just like horrible to each other.
Hate sells so much, and it's hard, especially when we talk about people who do social media. It's so easy to get into the algorithm of making content that produces hate, because that just instantly increases your views, increases your comments. The algorithm loves it, so it's so easy to get into the cycle of I'm going to put out hateful content, and it's not good. It's not helpful. Again, the truth isn't always easy to swallow, but we have to make sure that when we tell the truth, it's for a reason. We're just out here saying things to be mean or rude, but like we're actually trying to convey a real, actual message to bring people in.
Yeah. So, for example, when I talk about gays, it's not out of hate, but there's always a point to what I say. Like, I'm not just out here hating on them, but it may come across that way sometimes.
We are still working on Austin and helping him refine his conservative voice.
No, because like we can definitely disagree with it. Like, first of all, I don't hate you if you're gay at all. I don't believe in gay marriage. I don't think that that's marriage at all, and that's because I'm Christian, and I don't agree with your views on that. But I'm not here being like, I hate you because you're gay.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna twist that. They're gonna cut out that part.
Someone
I'll do it for you.
I was talking to somebody, and they're like, so Quan, you are Christian? I'm like, yeah, I am. They go, cool. How would you talk to somebody about them being gay to a non-believer? I told them if I was talking to a non-believer who was gay, I wouldn't talk about them being gay. Not because I don't have my beliefs, I don't care about my beliefs. It's because that's not relevant at that point. If they don't believe in God, the first step is to help them find a meaningful and deep relationship with Jesus Christ. And then from there, they can recognize the authority of who's saying what's right and wrong. If you are someone who's not who's not a believer, or if you don't have a good moral structure to how you believe the world should work, then me telling you what's right and wrong doesn't matter, because you right and wrong doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. So there's no point in me going, hey, you fatty, or hey, you gay person, or hey, whatever have you. If we don't share some kind of moral backbone of why life is important, or how life works. And so
that's also something that I recognized too when we were having all these debates and stuff with liberals on TikTok and the way that like we approached the situation or like these arguments was just really wrong, and we actually ended up like turning a lot of people away from God because our arguments that we were using was, no, this is wrong because like, you know, in the Bible it says that gay marriage, like it says that marriage is between a man and a woman and blah blah blah. So like they're never gonna go turn to the Bible. They're never gonna even open one because they already feel like it's not like they don't feel welcomed. You know what I mean?
Like I will say this: if someone asks me a question like, "Hey, when the Bible doesn't say that gay marriage is wrong," absolutely bet I can go to the part like, "Hey, right here, this is what it says." But they asked me about the philosophy of it. I'm like, "Hey, none of that really matters if you don't believe in God."
Yeah.
And so I think we missed the point. The point, at least as Christians, is the point at the beginning is to talk to them about Jesus, to tell them what the bad news is and what the good news is. Share the gospel with them, and then then like God work in their lives. To let Jesus Christ find them in their lives. We are not there to necessarily like make them Christian necessarily, but it's to kind of plant those seeds inside of them and like kind of have them understand who God is. And I think a lot of Christians take it a little too far, and they think that they have to save them when it's not really like Jesus saves, not us necessarily. And I think the tact of saying, "Oh, this is what God says," which is again, you may be right, but in how you're being right, you will push people away.
Yeah.
There's a certain way of saying something in a loving, caring way versus just saying to say it.
Fine line between spreading the gospel and pushing people away.
Yeah.
Very fine line.
Saying, "You're going to hell, you're going to hell, you're going to hell, you're a sinner, you're going to hell, you're going to hell, you're hell," versus me saying, "Hey, we're all sinners. Hey, my life struggle with these issues, these problems. I've been through this kind of my life. I understand that, and because of where we are, God came down in human form, Jesus Christ, and he saved us, and he's going to deliver us from our sin." And like that's a better way of sharing that message instead of just saying, "Hey, you are going to die and go to hell."
Yeah, and it's not an easy thing to do to like separate those two, but also because a lot of Christians these days, they don't really act with love and stuff and how we're supposed to. So I feel like if we were doing that, it'd be a lot easier because we'd be like, God loves everyone, and like
but
say
also,
all that. But
on the flip side, there are Christians who love talking about what God loves, but will not talk about what God hates.
Yeah.
And like, oh yeah, heaven exists, but won't talk about hell. And the reason why the good news is the good news is because there's bad news. The reason why Jesus saves is because we need to be saved. The reason why we get to go to heaven is because we were spared from hell. You have to have that both parts of that talk. And I think a lot of Christians are afraid to have both parts. Some Christians only have the first part about hell. Some Christians only have the ending part about heaven. And it's about both.
Yeah, it's a very fine line to walk, especially when you're talking with random people on TikTok, like how we said when we started this. It's because every person you start with, it's going to be it's never the same conversation. You got to figure out where you have to go from the start to help that individual.
My
TikTok?
rule.
No, go ahead.
Sorry. My rule for anybody listening who's a creator or who wants to do stuff online like this, or I can talk about these kind of stuff. My rule about discussions online is is this going to be a productive, honest, and polite conversation? If it's not, I'm not going to have it. Unless this conversation is going to be public enough that it will help somebody else in the audience. That's the rule.
That's a fair point.
If someone DMs me to argue with me and to be rude or mean, leave it alone. Leave it alone. If someone's in your comments is being mean to you for no reason, and there's no value in it, leave it alone. But if someone's like in your live or in your comment, whatever, and people are going to see this, and you have the opportunity to give a good message that people will see and understand and learn from, absolutely. If there's an audience there that you can show a good message to, do it. Otherwise, if it's a bad talk, don't have it. A lot of people, a lot of conservatives, a lot of Christians think because we are so free speech that we have to talk to everybody and we have to let people abuse us and yell at us and call us this, that, and other kind of names. We don't. It's okay. We don't have to let people be mean to us. We can just not talk to them. If someone is not interested in having a genuine, honest conversation, and they are more interested in twisting your words and lying and the BS, it's okay to not engage.
Which is seen in TikTok comments the most. It's so hard. It's so difficult to even have a genuine conversation with someone through TikTok comment, especially because everyone's like chiming in and stuff and like just being nasty. But I don't know.
I don't even read them anymore. Like I haven't
care. Been on TikTok in a hot minute.
Wish I could say the same.
I'll eventually come back, but I need to focus on school.
So one final thing that I want to talk about here is we're going back to the border is Title 42, which is seen as a win, I guess, in Republicans' eyes now. I disagree that I think it shouldn't have been kept in place. And my reasoning is Title 42 is it was put into place for the COVID emergency at the border. Now, if we're saying it's for other health emergencies, such as fentanyl, which is the biggest killer of our youth, then okay, maybe you have a reason to keep it in place, but they're saying it's COVID. There's other health, diseases coming across that we should be worried about as well, but they're still saying it's for COVID. Now, I feel like a hypocrite personally if we have been saying COVID's been over for 2 years now. We don't care about it, go about our days like it's nothing, but yet we're still trying to push the COVID narrative for something else. I feel like, obviously, like I said 2 weeks ago, I don't want any of them here. You can all get out. It's an invasion. You're here illegally. You're a criminal. Get out. So obviously I don't want them here, but Title 42 sounds too hypocritical to keep in place at this time.
The only solution is closing the border. The play on COVID is stupid. It's nothing less than stupid, especially because China, of all places, China dropped every. Do it again.
Sorry, my bad, Talia. Keep going, China.
They just dropped all of the COVID restrictions that they had. That place looked awful. That was the scariest thing I've ever seen related to COVID. They just dropped all their restrictions and just deemed it like equal to the flu because people stood up against them. And now we're still here like putting COVID restrictions in. Like, get that. Like, this is just awful and embarrassing. This whole play on COVID is just actually embarrassing.
It's an oxymoron to say we need a COVID guideline to stop COVID while allowing people to come to the border.
Yeah.
It's just a distraction. It's just like, oh my gosh, we're doing something. No, you're not doing anything. So these Republicans who are like, yeah, this is a good thing. Like, this is a win. No, the only win is closing our border. And you should know that.
Yeah. And the reason I said it's a Band-Aid because the statistics show that 14,000 out of every 16,000 come across with Title 42 in place. So you're stopping 2,000 out of 16,000. That's a joke. That's not doing anything. Okay, 2,000 people out of every 16,000. We're letting everybody in at that point. What are you turning around? People that look sick? Is that the only people you stop? People that come across with a mask? It's a joke to have in place. And the Supreme Court, I believe, was a 5-4 ruling on it. Gorsuch was the one who went with the liberals on this, and I agree with him because he said that the Supreme Court shouldn't be where they go after politicians fail to do their job. They should uphold what needs to be done. And it's not a political wing. So I agree with him that it's not the Supreme Court's job to do the politician's job. So I agree that Title 42 should have ended. But that being said, I'm not a liberal. I don't want all these people in here. They just got to do it the right way. Close the border how it should be done, not through Title 42.
I'm honestly done with the breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
That's what that was.
I would need to read the Supreme Court's decision to see kind of what their arguments were for the constitutional case for disallowing that bill and like closing the border off. I wonder what constitutional case could be made for that. But at the end of the day, the courts are not there to put in policy, and they're there to protect the Constitution and the rights therein. And unfortunately, a lot of politicians have used them, Republican and conservative, and Democrat, as a political wing instead of a judiciary wing.
Yeah,
very true.
Kind of a breath of fresh air, seeing he may not sided with what Republicans wanted, but he did the right thing, and it didn't matter about party lines, in my opinion. So that was a good thing to see in my eyes.
Yeah, the question is always, is there a constitutional basis for this discussion? If not, get rid of it.
Yeah.
move on, push it back to the States.
Yeah. And I think it was Title 8 is what Obama used to deport people, is what they were saying. But, as corrupt as our country is nowadays, we know what they're doing on the border. They're not going to fix the problem. So, whatever their plan is with Title 42, it's just a distraction, and they'll continue their big goal on the border, and nothing's going to change for a couple years at least. And then we'll still have a president in there who, whether Trump gets in or not, the same stuff is going on the border, just less coming into our country. But we all know about the human trafficking and the drug smuggling. It was less, still not good.
I have a question for you guys. If Trump has the votes, do you think they will let him win?
No.
Tally, how about you?
This is also going to sound kind of crazy, but I don't think that. I think yes, and I don't think it's just going to because they let him. I think that he already has stuff on them. I think that he's going to win because he is already more in charge than people think.
So you think that they will come after him, but he has enough juice, enough power, enough tricks up his sleeves to fight back against whatever they throw at him?
Yeah. I don't think they're going to be able to not let him.
Strong take.
I hope you're right.
I'm a little in the middle. I'm not sure because I feel like I'll be right. I don't know. I'm a little in between. I just don't know. I think when you have all these institutions, the media, the newspaper, Hollywood, when you have every social media platform, when you have multiple other foreign countries so deeply involved, it makes sure that this man does not win.
I think
that's really tough odds.
Yeah, but we need to also look at the relationships that he has with these people or had with these people when he was president. I think we need to look at the fact that he had a lot of time to work behind the scenes with enough motivation to do so. And yeah.
So what do you think happens if it comes up and Indiana changed their election laws. So New York. So to Florida. What's going on here? The ballot got lost. What happens then?
Like, what do you mean? Like they changed their laws?
So of course we have never had an election ever in the history of America be stolen ever,
Legit,
except for when Hillary lost to Trump, obviously. But what if they do what they did, quote unquote, last time, but even harder this time? They go all out to make sure, just absolute cheating and broad daylight view. How do you feel against that?
I don't think that it'll work. They run a dirty business and they all have stuff on each other. And I don't think that they're even going to, they'll try, but without, trying in front of his face, really. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. I don't think that they're going to be able to. I think that there's a lot of things that we don't know, we don't see. And, all the way, it's kind of like a Jeffrey Epstein situation where they all had dirt on these elites and stuff, so they wouldn't speak out against him ever. I think that it's kind of
also, I think it's harder to go after Trump when he's not president.
Yeah. And I think it's a lot easier for him to work behind the scenes.
I think when he was president, he was, to somewhat degree. Yeah, I think he was a sitting duck as president to a certain extent, and they were able to make certain problems his problem, even though they weren't his fault. And so I think as him not being president, it's really hard for them to really paint in the same kind of way.
Yeah, I think why I said no is because we've seen what happened last time. Whether you watched 2000 Mules, whether you saw corruption, you know what happened. We've all known how crooked the government is, whether it's the FBI, CIA, whatever three-letter organization there is. So when they've shown how far they were willing to go last time, now they have the power, Biden being the president. You see how crooked the government is. What's to stop them from going far enough? Now, I think if there's I don't know what, I think if there's some big momentum swinging his way, then maybe they can't stop it because they can even tell that the momentum's on his side. Maybe they can tell that it's too far to throw because that Democrats aren't stupid. They know what they're doing and they know how much they can get away without being caught too red-handed most of the time without having a major blowback. So I think maybe if he has momentum swing and maybe something goes this way, then he can get it fairly. But I think there's so much corruption going against him that it's going to be very hard. But I do think if they do steal it from him this time, I think there will be
military takeover.
Yes, I think there will be this country will literally burn. Like people just won't do it anymore. Like they'll be just so fed up that people won't care what happens anymore after that. You know what I mean? I think it'll just be chaos.
I think it's also our job to take that different approach and change the minds of enough people that'll, I don't know. I don't even know. I'm just so freaking frustrated with this whole thing. But I think that I can definitely see like a military takeover happen or like a civil war. Not that I want like a civil war, but like
It's so
I
divided.
really can.
And yeah, I think what's really important to remember, everybody listening, what's really important to remember is empathy. We understand that the people that we're talking to, they have a wrong worldview. But ask yourself why. What is going on in their lives that has brought them to this point where they think it's okay to kill millions of babies? Really sit down and think and really take the time to understand and ask questions and to see why they are where they are. And I promise you, if you do that, you would come to the talk with more love, first and foremost. And then you will understand a better way to talk to them and to bring them over to your side. If you take the time to understand them, you take the time to care about their story, you take the time to just to see them as more than just a wrong point of view, you will find a better angle to talk to them and to help them figure out the truth.
Well, that was beautiful.
Thank you. I try, I try.
Cheering. Okay.
Just crying here.
That's our future president right there. We just got to make it till then.
No, I remember saying though in an earlier episode that I had to do an assignment for college and I had to watch CNN and yes, I did. I had to like document every single thing that I heard and what I thought about it and whatever else. But it really is like they manipulate so much, like the words that they use and like the facial everything. They just manipulate the heck out of these people. So like it's really, I don't want to say it's not entirely, I guess it's not entirely their faults. You know what I mean? For them thinking this way. Because once you kind of fall into that trap, it's so hard to get out.
Yep.
Yeah, the average Democrat is just so unbelievably scared. They have been taught that there's this boogeyman around every corner, and they're so unbelievably afraid.
Well, because they're constantly victimized.
Yeah. Always the victim. No matter what it is, they're always the victim.
They're victimized, and a lot of them aren't religious either. And so there's no like not having fear because you're trusting God and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
And to the point where like even as us as conservatives, even when we are victims to certain degrees to certain different things, we don't see it as us being victims necessarily in like the way that they do. It's like, yes, things are happening to us. We are victims of this circumstance, whatever was happening to us, but we are winning overall, spiritually, emotionally. Like no matter what, like again, this may be happening to me online or what have you, but I have my family, you know.
The difference, my kids. The difference between us is that we're not holding it over our shoulder like a crutch, you know, like just walking through life like this happened because this happened a while ago, and I was a victim of this, so this is like.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, we will have our spirit. Like it's like you talk about like the slaves. There are the slaves who have been like completely falling into despair and like they are fully just in the mental anguish of slavery. Like, you know, there's physical slavery and then there's mental slavery. And I think a lot of people in today's political world are mentally enslaved. And despite what's happening to your body, if you are mentally free, you are totally free. And I think that's the truth. It's no matter your circumstance, if you have the mental ability to stay free and to keep thinking, keep pushing, and keep loving, keep caring, to see the beauty in things around you, you will be okay.
If you go on Google and you search inspirational quotes, it's like every single thing that Kawan has ever said in his life.
For
I have a
real.
book right next to me. I have a dictionary in front of me. Inspire, believe.
He's just reading them off as we go.
APR, Top G, Bugatti,
Oh, here we go.
passive income,
Top
stocks
G.
and bonds.
Well, I think if anyone listens this week, they definitely learned a lot of motivational, inspirational, whatever quotes, Kwan's been spitting them out for the last hour. So I hope somebody took them away and then they use those in other conversations, keep Kwan's wise words going. Maybe quote it and put it on a t-shirt or something. Maybe you can sell some. Could make some money there for your presidential run.
Yeah. Think about that. Buy a flamethrower from me. Warfordarms.com.
Oh man, any sales going on right now?
Ammo sale going on right now. Pretty soon, next month we are dropping body armor and plates. So look out for that.
There you go. Go buy some body armor from Kwan, warfieldarms.com. Go help him out. But other than that, I don't have anything else to talk about. You got something, Kwan?
Yeah, we're good.
We're good?
No, I think that was good. Yeah. Hey, everybody hang in there. You are loved by a caring and loving God. Okay, everybody remember, the individual is not the building block of society. It's the family, okay? And we are all family.
Yes.
Another tear just fell.
All right, let's get out of here before Kwan starts making people cry. Okay, this has been the Rhino Show. We'll see you guys next week. Goodbye.
Happy New Year.
See you next year.